there's no like extra lines on the surfaces. Everything that's coplanar is just smooth now. So
Is it just called merge or like?
merge all faces. So now let's do undo.
All faces or all spaces?
Merge all faces. So if I undo that, you see now there's all these like extra lines from the process of how we made the model. Basically, you made a bunch of boxes and Boolean union them.
Yeah.
So if I select this and do merge all faces again, you'll see that it just cleans up all the extra lines. So everything that's coplanar is now smooth. So that's one thing that I would do. And then now I can begin my cropping. To do that, I'm going to make a box. And the box is going to be 6 inches, like Bob said, by 6 inches, and then 9.5 inches. So this is my box that I'm going to use to crop. And I'm just going to, you can change the layer of it to, do you have a layer for it, the subtraction? Let's just put it on subtraction. And then the other thing that I want to do to make it a little bit easier for myself, it looks like some of your faces got messed up there. I don't know, it might be something with a model. Yeah, when I did merge all faces, it looks like you had some bad faces there that it messed up. So if this happens, then don't do merge all faces. But if the model is clean, then it should be fine. I did that on Trinity's and it worked.
Looks like it works right now. Oh no.
No, it's not. Let's do cap just to see if it's open. No, it's not. Okay. So I'm not gonna do that step. I'm just gonna go through and make my box. 6 inch by 6 inch by 9.5. And there's my box. And I'm going to put it on the subtraction layer or just another layer. And then another thing I want to do just to make it easier for myself is type in this command called set object display mode and hit enter. And then when I go to mode, I want to select ghosted. And now this box is ghosted while the other one isn't. So if I move it over this box, I can see through. Set object display mode. And then hit M and then select ghosted. So now, basically it's going to be a kind of design choice on your end is like how you want to move this to take the best crops of your project. So let's look at Mateo's model really quick and think about it. It looks like he's got like this space down here in the model and also this space up here that are pretty interesting. So that would be a candidate for a crop, I think, just right off the bat. And I'm gonna snap this. I'm gonna move it from this corner, and I'm gonna snap to this orientation so that it only moves this way. And then I want to snap to like one face or another. So I'm going to select this face so that it lines up there, and then I think that's a potentially good spot to crop because you see it grabs a little bit of this bottom space and then it grabs a little bit of that top space. Everything clear up to now? Okay. So to do my crop, you guys already know, you use Boolean split. Select surfaces and poly surfaces to split, so I'm going to select this one. And then I'm going to change this delete input from yes to no, so that it doesn't delete input. It just keeps my model and just makes 2 new split things on top of it. And then it tells me to select the ones that I'm going to use. Split, I'm going to select that, and then select cutting surfaces or poly surfaces. So then I'm going to select my subtraction box. So I hit enter and it failed. So I don't know if any of you have had this problem, but basically sometimes it has an issue when it's going to subtract when 2 faces are overlapping. Like when the box that's subtracting is overlapping the faces of the model. So to remedy that, I might just move it over one module. And now it shouldn't. Boolean split. I'm going to select my cutting surface, and it failed again. So it's probably because it's lining up with this face here. because it doesn't know whether to keep that face or not. So I'm going to move it one module in this direction. It's 1/2 inch. This direction. Let's give that another shot. Boolean split. Okay, and it worked. So now you'll see I can select, this is the old model, and I also have 2 new pieces on top of it. So that's what we had split. So I can just drag that over, and I want to delete the other piece that it split from, because I don't care about that piece. So I delete that. So there we go. That's one crop. Then let's do like 2 more quickly, 2 more crops. I want to crop, let's say, this area. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to do another Boolean split, and I'm going to select this as my cutting box, and it failed again, probably because these are overlapping. So I'm just going to move it a 1/2 inch over this way. Let's do another Boolean split, and it failed again because it's overlapping there. So you guys are going to have this issue where it keeps overlapping with surfaces and giving you trouble. Boolean split. It's because it's overlapping here. It's like overlapping no matter what, isn't it? Because it's always on a 1/2 inch module. Okay. It's like failing no matter what. I'm gonna make this a little bit, I'm gonna turn off grid snap, just for the sake of this presentation, just make it not line up with anything. Okay, so now I have my other piece that I can drag over, and I want to delete the one that was left over, and then let's do another one that's horizontal, because we also have that option. So let's do another Boolean split, select the cutting surface, oh, it didn't really grab very much, and it grabbed pieces that are separated. So let's undo. Did you hear Emma? Everybody get a mouse. You can't.
Give us the same advice this morning.
Yeah. Seriously, like working on the mouse pad, it's like trying to cut down a tree with a pocket knife. It's like just not the right tool, right? You need an actual mouse. Okay, let's do this for the final time. So we have our 3 crops, and there we go. Oh. I want to deselect that. Okay, so we have our 3 crops, and I want to put them all on the same level really quickly. So I'm going to do Control Tab and just tab through my views. And if you're not seeing the models in the frame, you can do ZS enter, and it zooms what's selected. So it's going to zoom onto whatever selected. I'm quickly going to do this command called align. So I'm going to type in align, enter, and select bottom. So now all of these are aligned at the bottom. I'm going to Control Tab again, to see them in three-dimensional space. So I want to pull these apart a little bit, like this, and then I want to select them, and now I want to start making my 2D drawings. So I'm going to type in isometric. It's a command, you hit enter, and then it gives you 4 options up here. Northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So if you guys want to do all of the different views from the different, basically it's the different corners, like let's say this is my model, northwest would be from here, northeast, southwest, southeast. So I'm just going to go through and do all of those. So northeast, I'm going to select that, and then it's going to give me an isometric view of that corner. So then when I have these, I can type in make 2D. That's a command. Are you guys familiar with make 2D? Yes, no? Okay. Command make 2D basically extracts the lines of the view of this model. Yes, Micah?
They wanted us to run a script that they put on Blackboard to skew everything.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have that script, so you guys just do that before you make 2D rather than use isometric. That sounds like what they want you to do. So scratch the isometric part, just do the skewing. I didn't know they had that for you guys. So
But it doesn't work for
it doesn't
Rhino 6.
it doesn't work for Rhino
No.
6?
One setting that I had to do it like manually.
Oh, like just shear it?
Yeah.
Okay, so just do it like that.
But I don't know how to do it, like
Oh, okay.
the shearing.
Yeah, shearing. Let's see. So shearing, if we want to do that to be 45, it's a little complicated. I think for now, let's just do the isometric for my section, at least, for studio, just because I want to see how these come out, and I don't care if they're like not correct 45. So for maybe for 1500, if they want them like sheared, then you can do that in 1500. So I'm gonna make 2D, and it's gonna bring up this drawing options box. I want to make sure hidden line is selected, so I see the hidden lines, and object properties from input objects. Yeah, maintain source layers. I want to select that, and then I hit OK, and then it just made a drawing for me, and nothing is selected. So I need to go to my top view in order to see that. So I click Control Tab and ZS in order to zoom selected, and there they are. So it's a little bit hard to see the hidden lines because they're gray. I can also type in gradient view. Does it not have it in this one? Oh, no, it works. So in gradient view, I can see it a little bit better. So there's my little chunk. All the white lines are what's visible. All the gray dashed lines are what's behind them. So that's one of the views. So now, I can draw a line and just bring them all to the same level. Maybe that's a little bit better without the lights. So that's one view of 3 of the models. You guys, my section, we're gonna do 11 by 17s portrait. So I'm gonna draw an 11 by 17 real quick, and just like I'm gonna scale these down later to fit on there. So now I want to go back to my models. I want to select them, and then I want to do ISO again and select the next orientation. I'm going to make 2D this. Same thing, okay. I'm going to go to my top view, and I'm going to do the same thing and align these. So I want to move this down, put it on this line, put this on this line. So this is my first view in this row, this is my second view. I'm going to do this 2 more times for the other views, and I'm just going to copy these down for the purpose of time. Basically, I went through and did that process again, right? And so that's the process. So now these are a little mixed up. This one I know goes with that one because it turned around the view, and that one goes with this one. So now I have my 4 different views. I'm gonna want to take all the views for this model, put them on a sheet. I'm going to take all the views for this model, put them on a sheet, and all the views for that model, and put them on a sheet. So let's just do the ones for this one. I'm going to scale them down, and right now we're not using a specific scale, so I'm just going to scale them down a little bit. And I want to arrange them on the sheet, the 4 different views. So I'm going to divide up my 11 by 17. I want to fit this one kind of centered there, this one centered here, this one centered there, and this one centered here. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it right now, but you guys make sure that you center them within each one. And now we want to bring this into Illustrator. I'm going to delete my guidelines. I select this, I export. You can type it in, or you can just go to File, Export Selected, and we're going to export. You can do either a DWG or an Illustrator file. I'm going to select Adobe Illustrator, put it on your desktop, do test, and snap current view, preserve model scale, 1 inch equals 1 inch. I don't know if this model is in inches, so let's type in units. So where are your units? You're in inches. Okay, so that would be fine if I did export again. I want to do test, save it as an Illustrator file, hit save. I'm going to preserve model scale, so it just comes in as an 11 by 17. So now I'm going to open up Illustrator. Have you guys been shown this before?
Yeah.
This whole process? Okay. So this isn't new info, but it's good?
It's good.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure, maybe it's just good reinforcement. So I'm going to wait for Illustrator to look.
Scale them down so quickly.
Oh, so there's this thing called the gumball tool. Let's go back to Rhino. If you have this deselected, when you select something, it just selects it. But if you have gumball turned on, then it gets this widget, whatever it's called. Maybe a widget, maybe I don't know what this thing's called, but you get this kind of thing. It gives you the different orientations with these little pulleys that you can just select. And if you don't hit shift, then it just scales it in one direction. If you type in shift, it'll scale it in all direction. And you just leave it selected, and then you can just quickly, if you're not doing accurate scaling, if you're just eyeballing stuff, then that's fine. And it's the same for moving it. You can use the gumball to move it in these orientations, or if you select this square, you can move it around in all directions.
And then to keep everything aligned, you use something called snap, or is that what it's called? Or you were saying snapping certain things on it?
Yeah, snapping is just a concept of if I want to align or snap, if I want to snap the edge of this mouse to the edge of this table, I would move it there. You can use this tool called OSnap, which stands for Object Snap. It's down at the bottom, and if you click that on, it gives you all of these little helpers down here that you can snap to. So I can choose snap to center, snap to midpoint, snap to point, snap near, snap end, and those are kind of guides. If I want to draw a line, let's say, or move something, or do anything, and I want to snap to, I want it to know where the corner is, I'm going to select end, so that would know that. Or if I select mid, it would snap to the midpoint of whatever line or object. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's also the command called align, which I used when I had all of these things floating in space, and I went to the side view and hit align and selected them, and selected bottom, and then it just brought them all down to the same bottom line. But that's less common. Okay, so let's create new, or no, we don't want to create new, sorry, we already have a file. So open, and I'm gonna go to my desktop and select test. And hopefully it knows that that's an 11 by 17. And hopefully it didn't mess up the scale, which we would then have to rescale. Welcome. Okay. So my thing is way off here in the distance somehow. So I'm going to select it and bring it over. And it looks like this isn't 8.5 by 11. So now I want to change that. And it seems like not all the toolbars are there. Essentials Classic. There we go. Okay. So this is my drawing artboard. I want to change that. So I go to Document Setup. I'm going to change this to inches and edit artboards. Do you guys know how to do this stuff? Okay. So I just want to make my artboard 11 by 17. So the width I'm going to do 11, and that I want to do 17, and voila. So that's my sheet, and I should have layers also over here. Let's go to my layers. Yeah, I should have layers for the visible lines and for the hidden lines. So if I just turn off everything but the hidden lines, they're going to show up here. And I want those like kind of lighter, so I'm going to make those like some kind of gray. I want the line weight not to be too heavy, so I'm going to do it like at 0.25. And also in stroke here, show more options. I want to, yeah, it's already a dashed line, so that's fine. And then I can control the dash widths, the dash frequency. So I also want to take that below the visible line, and for now I want to select my visible lines and make them like way dark. So I'm going to make the line black, and 1 is probably fine. So here I see my things, and then if I hit show hidden line, I can see those in the background. I think the hidden lines are reading a little too light, so I'm going to lock my visible ones and select my hidden ones, and I'm going to make them black as well because the gray just doesn't read too well. So we've got that, and I want to make my dashes a little bit closer together. So I go back to stroke, and then in dashed lines I want dash and gap to be equal, and I want them to be like 2. So 2 and 2, and you see now they're way closer together and they're equal, and that looks good. I'm pretty happy with that. I've got my like 4 orientations of my chunk, and you can just export this as a PDF or a JPEG and print it. Was everything clear, or was anything not clear that I can go over again?